Hello everyone. Sorry, I keep on looking at the screen. See, this is looking at the screen, this is looking at the camera. It's still something to get used to. Let's see if I can get rid of this stupid thing here. Okay. I had something on the screen I didn't want on the screen. Okay. Today I will be talking about abortion. Specifically the abortion debate. Now, first off, what is abortion? Abortion. Now, the deliberate termination of human pregnancy, most often performed during the first 2 weeks of pregnancy. Or no, the first 28 weeks of pregnancy. My bad, I got that one wrong. Number 2, an object or undertaking regarded by the speaker or as unpleasant or badly made or carried out. And just in case you're wondering, in the background, there's a fan and an air conditioner running to keep the cold air circulating. Otherwise, I would be in a pizza bake oven. Okay. The issue of abortion is now at hand. The conflagration and conjunction of women's health, politics, and religion all on one huge debate. Now, let me kick this this fuckbag shit stick off with two prefaces. First of all, I have a penis, not a vagina. I have a penis, sperm, vas deferens, epididymis, prostate, and testosterone. I do not have a vagina, vulva, uterus, fallopian tubes, eggs, clitoris, or labia, minor or major. As such, my opinion is superfluous, unwarranted, and unnecessary. And to anybody who has never had reproductive parts and has never been a woman, you don't have a say-so in you shouldn't have a say-so in this either. I don't give a damn if you're religious or not. Your religious views should not impede on a woman's ability to get care. If you disagree with that, well, you're not going to like the rest of this. Secondly, I am pro-choice, unabashed and unapologetically so. I don't believe in dictating what will happen to a woman's body, unless it's my wife or one of my children, any more than I want somebody, with the exception, again, of my wife, dictating what will happen to my body, whilst I can still think and speak about complex things anyway. With that said, let's talk about abortion and Roe v. Wade. Okay, Roe v. Wade. A landmark court ruling from 1973 that made abortion legal and has led to vast improvements in women's health care. The case is about Norma McCorvey, aka Jane Roe. She was pregnant with her third child and wanted to get an abortion. Because of laws in Texas, unless it endangered the mother, it was illegal. Mind you, she was pregnant in 1969, and Roe v. Wade wasn't decided until 1973. I don't know about you, but I'd tell you to fuck off if you told me what to do with my body, let alone the pregnancy. This argument was bolstered by the lack of separation of church and state. The biggest issue with this whole abortion debate is women's right, and there's a lot to unpack. Now, don't get things twisted. Women are already currently under fire from trans elitists, cancel culture, and a myriad of other things. In the front of the line is old foppish white guys who are conservative Christians, the kind of old fuck you are going to see at church because it is expected of him, and he listens to a preacher and come election, preaches directly to him without admitting to it. Preachers and pastors are quick to throw out a Bible verse that they associate with abortion, even though there are none that specifically address abortion or opposing it. Yet pastors, preachers, and pulpit pounders swear by these verses, even though they free use them for whatever purpose they so choose. In other words, they cherry pick verses regardless of context to fit their side of the debate. In this context, they expound about the sin of abortion. Abortion isn't a sin in the Ten Commandments. If you count it as such, then you have to condemn Moses and several other biblical figures after the tablets were made. This is not just a free-for-all. You have to keep to it if you're going to be an absolutist. Anyway, all these people, all these people from organized religion are sounding off about abortion. And our government leaders listen to this and act accordingly out of fear. This is social bullying at its penultimate, not its worst, next to it. In effect, they're making a very weak argument from something unrelated under the guise of religion and knowing the will of God. This is a control issue, nothing else. Now, I go to riffing. Now, the biggest issue I have is this entire abortion debate. On the right side, it's religion and, well, baby should have a chance for life. Not every, I've seen, like if you saw the stuff, the kids in Russia, the deformed or mentally unstable, you know, the mental ward in Ukraine, not Russia, but Ukraine, their parents abandoned them and then left. And some of these kids will, some of these children will, some of these people, disabled people, will never have a normal life. They will need round-the-clock care for the rest of their damn lives. They interviewed a kid whose spine was so twisted, he's wearing a diaper, and his diaper, you can see the front of it. His body is torted and twisted so that his upper torso looks like a taco. And his head is wildly on the other side. He's suffering from, scoliosis, I believe. In that case, I believe I'd have to euthanize the kid. It sounds horrible, but honestly, the war in Ukraine from Russia delayed the facility's ability to expand to serve better and give better care. And for some of these kids, honestly, death, and I know it sounds very vile to some of you, but in these cases, death would be better than the suffering they're going to have the rest of their lives. They showed a girl who is like, I think, 13 or 14 years old. She's never going to progress past infant stage. She gets excited and holds on to people's hands at the slightest touch. She craves affection. But her parents just dropped her off there and left. For me, I'm sorry, I'd risk dying to be with my kid if they had to be in an institution. Wouldn't care, you don't have to agree with it. But let's take this back a notch here. I am not a female. I cannot tell you, you need to go get your vagina checked. Just like you can't tell me you need to go get your penis checked. It's our individual right to go get our bodies checked out, or to refuse that. Now, if you've got like Ebola or AIDS or some shit like that, then you need to not be around people in a very intimate manner, because you're more or less a loaded fucking weapon of death. And for anybody wondering, well, why did you say these people as opposed to the others? Well, I'm a white male. I still have my testicles, my epididymis, my vas deferens. I've got all the stuff to make sperm shoot out of my penis. Does anybody have the right to tell me what to do with that? No, they don't. And I wouldn't tell any of you women, if there's any women watching this, I would not tell any one of you, you have to do this. You better fucking do it because because I think it's better and I know better than you. No, I have no right to do that. You have the right to spit in my face and literally shank me at that point. If you can't tell me what to do with my reproductive organs, I can't tell you what to do with yours. I have more than one friend who's had a hysterectomy and can't have kids and haven't had kids. And I applaud you for making the decision. No, I'm not happy that you can't have kids. Some of you should have had kids. but you didn't. And you're also still women. That takes nothing away from your womanhood at all. You may feel, I know some of you probably in the beginning of your being fixed that you felt you were less of a woman. No, you're not. You still have a vagina. You still have all the worst you had is parts removed. But I don't have the right to tell you a fucking thing about what to do. I can recommend. I've literally had women ask me about their symptoms, and I'll start doing the internet sleuth shit and give them my opinion. And they'll come back. They'll go to a doctor, you know. I'm assuming they're always going to say, fuck off, go to hell, and I'm never listening to you again. And they literally get the exact same advice from a doctor. Like, I don't know how many times I've done that, and women are like, well, my doctor said, here's the paperwork my doctor gave me, and it tells them exactly what I said. All my recommendations and everything I said are right there on paper from a doctor. Does that mean I'm a doctor? No, it doesn't mean I'm a doctor. But I'm trying to think about what the possibilities are. You boil it all down to the basic stuff. And if you're asking me for my opinion and you tell me to fuck off because I don't tell you what you want to hear, that's not my fault. I ask you what you want. For the women who are like, I just want it straight, I go sleuthing around, and then like half the time they get told the same thing by a doctor. That this is what's wrong with you, here's how you correct it, or here's how you avoid the advancement of it. It's not my fault I did the homework, you know? But I don't tell a woman what she should do with her body. Not gonna happen. And I don't believe that, and this is gonna sound weird, but I don't believe Congress has the right to tell you what the fuck to do with your body either. Not one goddamn bit. Not one fucking iota. Congress is still a bunch of people who either are too old to have kids, shouldn't have kids, or haven't had kids in so fucking long that it's not even funny. So why are they telling young childbearing or childbearing age women that they can't do what the fuck they want to do with their body? Oh, because you're going to destroy a life. Get over it. Some of you may think that abortion is bad. I get that. I admittedly, if my oldest told me that she was pregnant and she terminated the pregnancy, I would feel bad, but I would also ask if she was okay. Not if the pregnancy was okay. And then whoever got her pregnant, I would ask him if he's okay. I've been there. I've lost a kid. I know what that's like. So, I wouldn't shame my daughter for getting an abortion. Not a chance in hell. It's not my decision. Would I have liked her to keep the kid? Well, of course. But that ain't my choice to make. Not unless she tells me it is my choice, because she doesn't want to make it. In which case I have to think about what's best for my daughter before I think about what's best for the pregnancy. Period. Would I love a grandchild? Yes. But I am more worried about the long-term health of my child than my child's child. Until it's born, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. If she tells me she wants me to go with her to the abortion clinic, I will. You know, I'm fairly open-minded. Might break my heart, but you have to stick by your principles. And it's not the fact that I'm anti-religious, but I believe in a division of church and state. They need to be separated. You can't have a pulpit pounder coming in and say, well, we need to block women from having abortions by law. No. Keep your mouth out of the political game. If you can't do that, then you better be paying taxes. I don't put something in your donation plate every week for you to be able to dictate what the law should be based on your religious affiliation. No, I do not. And no laws can be made to favor any one religious belief. Going by that alone should make abortion legal. Am I saying abortion is morally right? No, I'm not making that argument. I'm not making a moral argument here. We're talking just abortion as a whole. And without Planned Parenthood, I don't care what you've heard about Planned Parenthood selling baby parts and all this other crap. No, they don't. They work primarily with stem cells. Those are cells found in the umbilical cord from mother to child. And if they get them when fast enough, they can get quite a few of them. But the safe part, the safest way to do it, is deliver the child and wait for that umbilical cord to shrivel. That means most of the blood's drained out of it. Then you cut it off and donate it to science or whatever. That is ethical. But yeah, I don't agree with people who are like Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. They're both 80 years old. I say they have no fucking say in your health care. I don't give a fuck if they go to the preacher every Sunday and get damned to hell. You can't have children. You don't get a say. Yes. I'm not being an absolutist. I am looking at this from the way it should be looked at. If an old man told me I need to get my nuts clipped because he was tired of me procreating, having kids, tough luck, screw you. I don't want that for myself. Why the fuck would I ever wish that upon you? If you're a female, you should love this video by now. Now, I'm not excusing all the girls who go out and are just getting rammed by like 13 guys a week and end up pregnant. Well, I can't afford. No, you chose to get pregnant. You don't use protection. You don't use birth control. And you're having sex with 13 guys in a week. You're going to end up pregnant at some point. The one who can just get it because, well, they just want to lead a promiscuous lifestyle. Go get fixed then. If you don't want to worry about birth control, just get your junk removed or whatever. It's not hard. It's not like I'm offering some weird ultimatum. Now, on the other hand, you're on birth control multiple ways and all that shit, and you're still getting, and you managed to get pregnant through all that, and you got on all this stuff because you don't want to be pregnant, I can condone getting an abortion then. If you're on like 5-6 different forms of birth control, and you still got pregnant, I get the abortion then. What disturbed me is single news about people arguing about abortions, and now it's becoming more political than ever. It's insane. I mean, a lot of conservatives are like, the news is reporting that a lot of women are not finding out they're pregnant until after 12 weeks. Now, boys and girls, do you remember how long 12 weeks is? Can I help you do the math? Every 4 weeks is a month. 3 months. If you haven't had your period in 3 damn months and you're not on birth control, guess what? You're pregnant, bitch. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Women are like, well, I didn't notice I didn't have my period. I was too. No, you're never too. If you have to buy pads every month, you weren't that busy. If you knew to put on your pad, you weren't that busy. Don't start that shit. Now, as far as female care, female health care, the abortion debate, and the trans community goes, this is a bit of an Ipswich. If you've already gotten the surgery to be a man and all that crap, okay, you have no right. Well, I was born a woman, you have no say in it. If you've already had all the surgeries and you're considered a biological male, physically, not genetically, physically, you have no say in women's health care. If you are a trans woman, if you're a trans woman, and you still have your penis, I'd say that takes you out of the realm of having a say in all of in that whole discussion. Okay, sorry, I had to take a second or two break there. Wife came back after taking dog out to get her paws done. But yeah, as far as the trans argument with abortion, if you're a trans woman, you still have a penis, and you just started hormones, and you're talking about being you're a real woman. As far as the abortion debate goes, you're out. You don't have a choice. You don't have any of the female parts required to make a baby with in the first place. Mentally, you might think you're a woman, but biologically, you are not a woman at all. If you're a trans woman and you've gone through the surgery and all that crap, okay, and we're talking got boobs, got a vagina, got the whole 9 yards done, okay, we'll let you have a say in that. But all these trans people like Ezra Miller, aka Credence Barebone from the Fantastic Beasts series, or the Flash from Justice League, he claims he's a trans woman, a non-binary trans woman. Automatically, no, you're not. You don't get to have a say in women's health discussion, let alone abortion. If you're a trans woman, if you're a woman transitioning to men, so you're a trans man, and you still have your boobs and vagina, I would stop claiming to be a trans man at that point. Maybe transsexual or trans fluid. But as far as being claiming, as far as claiming that you still have a say in your own health care rights, that's kind of a no. If you're still a woman, then you need to, if you still have your female parts, then just consider that female health care. You're not a man yet. You don't have a penis. You still have mammary glands in your chest or boobs. And for all the people who are, say they're trans, like all the trans women who will never get the surgeries, don't plan on doing anything more than cross-dressing, that makes you a transvestite or a cross-dresser. Doesn't make you trans. I don't care what videos you watch on TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, hole up my cornhole, I don't care. If you're not considered a woman, and you don't have the parts of a woman, then I'm going to say you're probably not going to be in the conversation, shouldn't be in the conversation of women's health care, let alone abortion. Now, admittedly, there are some religious zealots out there, and if there's any religious zealots watching this show, well, tough shit you're listening. Your religious indoctrinations should not impugn upon anybody else's rights. If you do so, and yet you still cry that Muslims are trying to institute Sharia law, take your Christian, take that little Christian card for Christians, the little card y'all keep, rip it up, throw it in the trash. You're doing the exact same thing that you're claiming they're doing. You're creating a stink about something that's not really supposed to be happening. Well, they shouldn't be doing this because it's against my religion. All people are not all one religion. And there's an overwhelming majority of Congress that, well, our religious beliefs don't allow for abortion. And why is that? The Bible says not. No, your pastor says not to. The Bible, I already looked at the Bible. I actually went to like 13 different sites. looking for a case for abortion. Doesn't say anything about abortion. And for that matter, everybody who claims that there's a Bible verse against abortion, as far as I'm concerned, there's not. I've checked. I checked 3,000 permutations of abortion in the Bible, trying to find it. Zip, nada, doesn't exist. Now, you want to go to, if you say, well, he did say something about homosexuals of the LGBT community. Look that shit up too. I've had weeks to do it. And kind of find out there's not a single word against it. And I know some of you are going to say, yes, there is, and then start flipping out Bible verses. I double checked. I even called a couple of pastors, just out of curiosity. And I found out that each one of them cherry picks the same ones without looking at the words before or after. They only cherry pick a certain number, and they're not in context. Now, as far as my research, as far as my limited research on the Bible goes, I would say that the biggest problem the church has is context. They want to put everything in their own context so that they win no matter what. Well, here's my thing. The only verse that should concern you about homosexuality at all, even then, is a simple Bible verse where God told them to go forth, be fruitful, and multiply. Think about it. I don't remember which Bible verse it is. I know it's in there. I know it was said at least once, if it wasn't a couple times. But this Bible verse alone is the only thing affirming what we would call heteronormative relationships. Because woman and woman can't reproduce, not without a man's help, and man with man can't reproduce, they can't multiply. Other than that, there is no verse that I can find, and I've called up places and emailed pastors and all that crap. And all I get is out of context, cherry-picked Bible verses that are so out of context, they're not worth using in an argument. But they've been used for centuries. Now, being pro-choice, I'll admit that I'm a little biased. But I also happen to be clear thinking and critical in my thinking. Could I be wrong? Of course I could be wrong. I don't think I am, which is normal. And no, I'm not condemning religion with this. I'm saying religion has its place, and religion does not belong in government. If you want to say in God we trust, or all this other religious crap that's around courthouses and whatnot, then you should also cater to other faiths, and not just Christianity. Because Satanists get offended by Christianity. Christians get offended by anything other than Judeo-Christian symbols and words. And I generally don't like the whole religious thing, not because I'm anti-religion, I'm anti-organized religion. Religion was going so well until us humans took it over, us ordinary humans, and decided what was versus what wasn't. We weren't, some of us were blessed with the ability to see between the lines and see a lot of things, but we weren't blessed with this overwhelming need to be subservient for our entire lives for a being we can't prove exists. And no, I'm not saying I'm atheist either. I pretty much go with agnostic. But I don't think that religion has any business in politics. Well, this is the way God did. No, God didn't decide shit. You decided it was the will of God. You decide you know the will of God. I think you're insane if you think you know the will of God. I don't know the will of God. I don't even know if there is a God. Or it could be like Kevin Smith said, God may be a one. If it is, we all be fucked. But for women who, for all those who support casual abortion just for the sake of not having to deal with a fucking sniveling baby, go get fixed or go get on birth control. I would say to all members of Congress and our government, you need to plug your ears when it comes, you need to learn to close your mind and your ears when it comes to the sermon. When they come to religious aspects like that, where they're making things up. They're cherry picking from the Bible. And like I said, I have done Google searches, I've used like 3 or 4 engines to try to look stuff up, and I keep getting the same answers. There are no answers, because it was never addressed back then. Not once, not even a little bit. Now I realize I've probably offended more than one of you, probably all of you, don't care. I am of the same mind, in a way, as Elon Musk, if you will, in that he thinks he's a free speech absolutist, which he's not, because he claims to be a free speech absolutist, but yet if anybody speaks out against him in his own company, he fires them now. Ironic, isn't it? You can't be a free speech absolutist and then fire your very own employees for speaking their own minds. It's contradictory. You can tell them they're going to be penalized for being contrary to you. But as far as firing them just for having a difference of opinion, contradictory. Me? I'm kind of like that, but a little less. I listen to people I don't agree with all the time. I listen to YouTube videos that I would literally rather shoot the speaker than watch the fucking video. Like, I hate watching Trump speeches because they're so full of garbage and convoluted bullshit. And some of you love Trump. But I don't have to love him. I literally try to see everything for what it is, and the language they're using, the micro expressions, as some of you just like him, or like what you think you saw him, or what do you think he did, which you probably didn't. But we all have our difference of opinion. Me, I don't have to like him. I don't even have to want him. Remember, I'm the guy who didn't vote for either of these old farts. I didn't vote for Trump or Biden. I didn't agree with either one of them. I didn't like Trump as president. Still our president as a country. Doesn't mean he was a good one. I don't like Biden. I currently don't like Biden. But we don't have a president tweeting erratically and hiring people and firing people by tweet either. I think we need to take a step back as a country and stop trying to win everything on a politics basis. There's too much animosity. The church I feel the churches nowadays are helping. You drop your bone? I think Eric got a deer antler as a chew toy. Congress needs to stop taking the side of religion. Religion needs to stay the hell out of politics. You may disagree with me, you may agree with me. I don't care. I feel that churches stay the hell out of politics or pay taxes. One of the two, period. If you mention something, if you want to pray for a candidate, well, pray for all the candidates that God may pick. God may help everybody pick the best candidate. Keeping it ambiguous. That's non-political. but they're at the same time, a lot of churches are like, please pray for this kid. That's basically like, okay, pray for Brownback because he stands for everything we do, and we're a religious organization. No, automatically cut your funding, throw your ass on, tax your ass to death, and in the church. If you're a church, don't get into politics. Pray for the politicians. Pray for the people's will to be done. Don't ever mention one particular candidate because they agree with you. Pray for all the candidates and all the voters. That's it. Anything else? You're praying to God that that a vote on an amendment will end up the best way it can. That's ambiguous enough. It can fly by. Saying, vote no to abortion or else you're a bad Christian. Nope, tax you. I know it sounds suicidally crazy, but yeah. And the craziest thing is 1973 was Roe v. Wade. Then it was analyzed again back in 91, 92, where they started putting restrictions on abortions as far as when they could get abortion, as in when along the pregnancy were they no longer eligible for abortions, things of that nature. Which I see the point of, but it diminished the argument. And I still believe that religious leaders bringing input and throwing more fuel on the fire is negative. They're not doing God's work at that point. Anybody who believes that it's their job to run for Congress and stand up for God, no. Out of I would throw you out of office. You don't have to. All of you don't have to agree with me. These are my opinions. They're based on pretty sound fact most of the time, though. You will have to admit. But I want you to think about yourselves if you're women, your wives if you're a husband or wife to another woman. Yeah, I want you to think on that. Think about the women. If they had to have a man's permission to get something done, and like if you're a lesbian, there is no man around. Well, your husband needs to make that decision. Ain't no man around. Think about it. Do I agree that abortion may be an abhorrent thing? In some cases, yes. But women's health care is a woman's choice. Men can't give birth to babies, even though I read over a dozen articles in the past 3 weeks talking about, well, this man gave birth to a child. No, that wasn't a fucking man. It was a trans man. It was a woman transitioning to a man and got pregnant before it was all done. That's not a pregnant man. That's a fucking woman taking hormones to become a man who's not quite there yet. That's not the same thing by a long shot. Biology, genes dictate that shit for most of us. Anyway, y'all have a pleasant day. I expect to see comments on my YouTube page if you guys feel like chatting it up or whatever. If you didn't like the video, let me know that too. If you just like the video, I don't care. It's good. But I want you guys to seriously think about this because they haven't announced anything with this yet. And I'm going to be releasing this as soon as I humanly can get this out. Because I got a movie to burn for my daughter too. So you guys have fun. Thank you to, let's see, what was it? I don't remember her, I don't think I've ever heard her last name. Roxy, Robert's roommate. Robert. Let's see. My niece Josie. My niece Casey. Anastasia to the rest of you, I guess. I don't know. Laura was kind of instrumental in getting this thing off the ground, at least this podcast. Also, thank you to my parents, who are both in nursing homes and half in, half out. And thank you to the United States government for letting us all see what's going on. Anyway, I gotta get the hell off here to get this thing converted. Peace out, have fun, don't eat donuts.